Hello everybody, it's your boy the Rapple again, and we're back with some more Age of Mythology content. Today we're analyzing a nice Kronos game I played very recently in Ladder, and I would like to share it with you, share my strategy and my way of thinking for you to learn and enjoy the game even more. So, matchup here is Kronos against Thor on Alfheim. I know you might think that Kronos is pretty good on Alfheim, and I think you have a point. But I've seen people really struggling against Thor, so I would really like to help you out with this Kronos Rush specifically. So villager time has been changed again. For normal villager, it's 17 seconds from 18, I think. And that kind of nerfed Kronos Rush because in order for you to do a 3-minute advance, you're gonna be having around sometimes even up to 10, 12 seconds of idle down center. So that isn't the best thing for you as the Kronos player. You don't want to really idle your town center. Your citizens are pretty powerful. We gotta utilize them as much as possible. So, yeah, here's a little sketchy little trick I do with Kronos. You do the manor, and you have 0 idle town center time with this build order. We're gonna go up to 7 citizens total age up. Once you have yourself 5 citizens out total, and you have 2 citizens queued from the town center. So we're waiting for the 2 last citizens to be trained. And you have another 150 wood in the bank. That's when you switch your wood villager from the straggler tree. We switch it over to gold. So we have both citizens mining gold. And then we could even use a cow once we start constructing the temple. We could use a cow to eat. There we see I'm moving the cow. So we can get the age up pretty fast. So, yeah, we're now getting 150 gold, and we no longer need those citizens on gold. You see, we're using exactly the amount of resources we need to make the build order right, have no idle down center, and get the crash going against the Norse player. By the way, this Kronos Rush, I should mention, works against all 4 Norse gods. Can even work against Freyr, or at least it can force an early Golem Burst against Freyr, and then you could run away from it. Your goal is to force a Golem Burst, not really win. Yeah, talking about Freyr, we're against Thor right now, so let's focus for Thor. I'm dropping the temple, and the second citizen from the gold mine will start gathering from one single cow. You know, you don't need more than one cow, just one cow for this build order to get right. So you see, the manor is pretty much boosting the temple. We're sitting at 15 population, that's why it's important to get the manor up. That means we will age up extremely fast with a manor, and we don't get housed. So that's really important to note down. So, alright. The manor once again is boosting the temple. We're about to hit 400 food. And now I will be switching slightly those villagers where they should go to. You instantly teleport your temple because it has also been nerfed when you play Kronos. And that means as soon as the temple is up, we already need to be teleporting it over the opponent's base. I mean, outside his base. Because we want to use those Prometheans to harass as soon as possible. So here's the age up for me. And yeah, we're going to be switching around slightly the villagers. We only need 2 on food right now. 3 on wood. Because we want to drop a counter barracks, another manor potentially, so that costs a lot of wood. And 2 on gold. That's important. The 2 citizens on food, we will be able to train a 3rd Promethean. The first 2 are free. You obviously look for your opponent temple to deconstruct as soon as possible. Because now we're delaying the Hershey production, which is quite what we want to do. Yes. So yeah, again with the 2 citizens on foot, we'll be able to get a 3rd Promethean, and at the same time not idle our town center. But yeah, stop at 3 Prometheans. You don't need more than 3. Once you start having excessive food, that's when you can upgrade your Prometheans, and you can start building a few more. So 1 oracle should be hidden around the map, so it doesn't die, and the 2 oracles should be used aggressively. Your first valor will be used over your oracle, Because the second Valor, by the time we get the counter barracks up, and we teleport it, and we train the first Cairo Ballista, that's when we should already have available the next Valor to be used on a Cairo Ballista. Because this is very important when you play against Norse. The first unit we train is a Cairo Ballista. Because it heavily counters infantry, and guess what? Herser are infantry units. So that's where our Valor is supposed to go. Yes. The Heroized Oracle can help you out defending your Prometheans. The third Promethean is out. And our goal is to just idle hunt or gold for the Norse player. So this little walking time here and there that we have forced upon the Thor player. By the way, Borg is a 2k plus player, very strong Thor player, one of the best Thor players out there. So yeah, I forgot to make that mention. Yeah, we're teleporting forward the counter barracks from the main base. And we're gonna need around 3-4 on food, and then another 3-4 on wood and 3-4 on gold. You wanna balance out your citizens when you play Atlanteans. So yeah, let's get here back. You retreat. You know that Thor is in trouble because since Thor has chosen to go for a fast classical age, you know that there is no armory for the Thor player. That means there are no extra dwarves. The Herser aren't as powerful because they have no armory upgrades at all. And that means we're winning. We're winning economically. First Cairo Ballista is out. The Valor goes upon the Cairo Ballista. The second manor was also quite necessary since we have started training units overall. And we have forced a healing spring. Just by attacking the gold mine, we have forced the Thor player to use a Dwarven mine. So this is quite important. You wanna force the Dwarven mine in the classical age because it scales every age. In every age it scales. So the sooner you force it, the better you... yeah, the better for you. You should be teleporting a second counter barracks. And if you take a look, we should be using the Prometheans very soon to help us out scout what the opponent is training, because you know raiding cavalry is necessary to counter the Cairo Ballista, so the counter to the raiding cavalry is Catapeltis. So we proceed with the counter barracks units. Catapeltis to counter the Cairo Ballista, Catapeltis to counter the raiding cavalry, and the Cairo Ballista to counter any type of Norse infantry. And remember, Norse is full of infantry units. So yeah, that's one thing to note down. So, we have vision of the Goldmine with the Hero Oracle. That's all we need to know. We're just waiting for the Thor player or the Norse player to move out. We do have a single Promethean unit, a small offspring Promethean, checking on the right side if the opponent tries to sneak out villagers, whether he wants to hunt here or whether he wants to mine a gold mine. So one unit is scouting the left side, and a second unit is scouting the left side. Here on the right side one, on the left side, another unit, in case the opponent tries to move out for gold or hunt. There are some wolves here, but yes. And you see me at this point using a single Promethean to check out what my opponent is doing. And this is quite important. You can sacrifice, you can have a scout unit that is gonna be the suicide unit. So what happens here is I send a single Promethean to die, so I can see what military units my opponent is trying. How can you tell? You can tell from the buildings. You see double Great Core. So you know that is most likely going to be raiding cavalry. What can you train from the Great Core? Raiding cavalry and Herser. That's all you can train. They have no access to Goldie for now. So yes, the counter to that should be Catapeltis. So we'll proceed with the Catapeltis. And if he's doing a full Herser build, then he can be your guest. You have already built the Cairo Ballista. No chance. Now with the help of the Oracle, we should be able to see this army approaching us. I got myself an extra Oracle, because why not? And our goal is pretty much to defend the Cairo Ballista. If we can defend the Cairo Ballista, we are more than fine taking fights literally anywhere. But try avoiding the healing spring. We're not really that far ahead right now to try and take a fight there. That would be a suicide. But yes, your second deconstruction in the classical age can be used on top of a Great Hall because it takes a long time to be built and it slows down enemy production. And yes, you should be able to be hunting outside using manors, so you can garrison the citizens. And with the help of your catapultis, no, you can't really catch up to the raiding cavalry. But what you can do is to push them away, kite them away. Just keep your catapultis in key positions. So as you can see here, I haven't left my Caroballista exposed. My reinforcements catapultis are protecting them. Because your opponent will try and do this. Do you see that? He's gonna send all the raiders to hit your citizens. He's gonna fail because you have the catapultis chasing them down. And since your opponent has the mobility, he's gonna then try to surround your Caroballista and clean them up. So it is always important, no matter where your opponent is located, to always have your catapultis on top of the Caroballista. A group of them can be used as a defensive unit to protect your citizens. You can see I'm not chasing him because that would be a waste of time. I'm keeping my catapultis in key positions until I'm ready to regroup and take a big fight over a gold mine, over a hunt location. That's how we play Kronos. So a group is defending the citizens, another group can do the chase. The reinforcements will help out defending the Caroballista here. I kept one there too, just in case. Unfortunately, I lost a citizen like a little noob. I didn't expect to lose. I didn't expect to have to fight 3 wolves, so that was a noob mistake. Forgive me for that. And every time you see the raiding cavalry approaching your citizens, you garrison over the manor, and you live the dream. Just live the dream. You do see some key catapultis positioning to be able to snipe 1 or 2. It's high value over there. And remember, we don't want to overdo it with catapultis. Around 10 catapultis should be good. Then we want to be switching over to Marmilo catapultis, because Marmilo is a generalist unit that can do very well against anything. Always remember to keep track of your Caroballista like this. You position them every time you need. We can now start upgrading the Prometheans, since it's time we get the excessive food out. And we do teleport a second military barracks. We're looking to basically secure all the map control, having that citizen over there with using a valor. And you know, around 10 minutes into the game, sometimes even before 10 minutes, it's where Norse starts food starving. So he still has some chickens left, but check this out, no cows really left, berries have almost expired. So you know the Norse player will soon approach you to take a fight. So that's when we're gonna start winning. Once Thor needs to move out. If you look at the score difference, nothing really important has happened, but we're extremely ahead right now in score. And in this fight is where everything is gonna play out. This is the moment we have all been waiting for, because check this out. Microing your units, run away from the healing spring, and the most important micro is the Caroballista. I recommend adding your Caroballista into a control group, or if you have a hotkey that selects them, you can do that. You're gonna be attack moving with everything you have. Keep the Caroballista in the back line. Check this little movement, army movement I'm gonna be doing. Alright, so just like that now, we've managed to have the catapultis in front of the Caroballista. The raiding cavalry are failing to get on top of the Caroballista. The catapultis are getting their full DPS, 5 hack damage per second with a multiplier of 4. And the Prometheans are tanking a lot because they have 55 hack armor. And when they die, they spawn 3 little offsprings that are almost as strong as a berserk, which is kinda crazy. So yes, lots of tanking. So this is where this is gonna play out, because your Caroballista, the only thing you need to be scared of, the only thing that you should really pay attention to during this fight, is what the Caroballista are attacking. Because you see the front line is raiding cavalry, so your catapultis don't have to be microed. They will attack the raiding cavalry anyways. What needs to be microed is the Caroballista. And the type of micro we need here, for them to get their full DPS, 8.8 pitch damage per second, 5 times more damage against infantry. they have to be either attacking the Herser or the Berserks. That's the only unit those Haro Ballista need to be attacking. Otherwise, they're almost useless. So check this out. I'm zooming in. Even if you watched my stream, you're gonna notice how much I zoomed in to be able to micro my Haro Ballista during this fight. So you see, first Berserk targeted down. Second Berserk targeted down. A Herser now being targeted down. Another Herser being targeted down. And once again, I've managed to clean up the entire army. Look at the ball of blood over there. And your hero Haro Ballista can later even be used to kill the trolls. You know, they do very well against Smith units. Like 8 times more damage against Smith units. That's insane. So, definitely how you win your first fight. And that's where Thor starts losing heavily, because check this out. There's no food left. Farms are being thrown while I'm busy still hunting. I'm on 2 hunting locations. I still have my berries. I have at least 2 cows over there. And I haven't dropped a single farm yet. So yeah, we're turning around. And once again, we're gonna be microing the Haro Ballista. Targeting those Berserks one by one. You see the little flag. Another Berserk down. Another Berserk down. And later, we use the Haro Ballista to kill the Myth units. So, one more thing. Once you've managed to kill all of the infantry units in the front line, you can even use your Haro Ballista to kill Throwing Axemen. Because Throwing Axemen has 2 tags, infantry and ranged soldier. So it's not just an archer, it's also infantry. So yes, your Haro Ballista apply their full bonus damage against Throwing Axemen, which is insane. And yes, just like that, with your scout units, you find out where those villagers were, and then you can use your army to pretty much push him off gold on hand. And the Norse players will really struggle to win big fights against you if played right. So, this was some game analysis for you, for Kronos. Let me know if you enjoy this type of videos, and you can request other gods too if you wish. Feel free to let me know in the comments, leave a like, and I'll see you in the next video.